Well. Matchday 5 is in the books, and the CAF Champions League is providing more shocks than ever before. A lot of the big guys are struggling, while a lot of the little guys are breezing through. Could we be seeing a shift in African football? Surely not. So the CAF Champions League Matchday 5 has come and gone, and for some teams, they will be gliding through with ease into the knockout phase, while for others, the route seems a whole lot darker, murkier, and the pressure only intensifies while the room for errors minimalize and the road gets murkier, darker, and more slimmer. Hi, I'm the Football Otaku, and welcome to Matchday 5 of the CAF Champions League wrap. If you guys are loving the content, don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe. And enough of the talk, enough of the poetic talk. Let's get started. Starting with... They couldn't, could they? Surely they couldn't. Power Dynamos hosted RS Berkane in the Champions League on Matchday 5, with the action getting away in Ndola, Zambia, and we saw the first real meaningful chances fall to the home side. I mean, of course, this was a very different Power Dynamos than the one that visited Morocco on Matchday 1 a few months back. I mean, they were a team that were a lot more enterprising, a team that definitely had caught RSB off guard, and RSB really looked cold. They looked like they got caught very, very cold and didn't really look all in all up for it. And eventually their early enterprise, Power Dynamos that is, would be rewarded with the first goal of the game. As a ball well worked from the right side, this is in the second half that is, would be played into the area, and a Power Dynamos attacker would swipe the ball into the back of the net. It does take a bit of a deflection off an RSB defender, but I mean, it was already going in anyway. The keeper's in no man's land. Berkane looked very disorganized at the back, and you could say this was the goal that Power Dynamos deserved. I mean, they had been the better side for a large chunk of the game and weren't disheartened by their first half performance, where they had a lot of impetus and a lot of chances, but not a lot of goals to show for it. They would also then just keep their foot in RSB's throats. They would carry on attacking, creating a lot more opportunities. RS Berkane don't create anything of any real significance. They do have one chance, but I mean, it's a cross that is well dealt with by the keeper and by the defenders, and really amounts to nothing. Eventually, their second goal would come, and again, it would be a little bit more wing play. This time from the left side and the opposite flank, where there's a fantastic cutback and a wonderful shot from distance. Goalkeeper has no chance to save this one, and it flies into the back of the net for 2-0 to Power Dynamos. The match then peters out, and it's a phenomenal result from the team from Zambia. This is an absolute huge shock in the Champions League and keeps their campaign alive heading into the final day. For RS Berkane, it's a real bump, brought back down to earth, and you could say with the last few results, they don't look so comfy anymore, and now there's a real possibility that the Confederations Cup winners, a team who looked so comfortable in the beginning of the campaign, could be leaving us before we get to the business part. But enough of what went on in Ndola. What went on in Uyo, Nigeria, as the African champions Pyramids would visit Rivers United of Nigeria, and would be Rivers United who would get the first goal of the game. I mean, it was upset day in Group A, as a fantastic free kick. I mean, it's a well-struck free kick from the Rivers United captain. No chance at all in goal for El Shenawi, the goalkeeper, for 1-0 for Rivers United at the break. And really, the Rivers United fans began to dream as they could score an unexpected victory over the African champions. But Pyramids aren't African champions for nothing, and for a team that dominates the continent down to the New World Giants, they've started to show their impetus and started to show their class, and eventually would level it up at 1-1 with a fantastic strike to make it 1-1. As Al Fati would get the ball from a well-worked move, some fantastic wing play, a couple dummies, he would slot it in for 1-1, and for there on, you only ever thought there was going to be one winner. Pyramids would then get a penalty for an infringement in the box, a penalty which would be coolly slotted away for 2-1, and the game began to get away from the home team really fast and really bad. And before you know it, it was 3-1. And by that point, the game was practically over as a contest, as Rivers United stared down the barrel of what would be a very harsh defeat, and then Pyramids would make it 4. They would balloon the score, and really you felt there was no competition left. And Pyramids, with that victory, seal their place into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. For Rivers United, unfortunately, it's the brutal end to what has been a brutal campaign. As the group table looks, you have Pyramids on top with 11 points. They are through unbeaten. They did though concede their first goal, but bounced back with 4. Sadly for Rivers United, at 1 point they are out. A brutal end to what has been a brutal campaign for Nigeria's second side. And now we have a bit of a deadlock situation, as RS Berkane and Power Dynamos are both on 7 points. I mean, who knew this situation could be possible after the first 3 match days? So heading into the final day, we will have RS Berkane. They will be at home to Power Dynamos, while RS Berkane, will be at home to the Rivers United, while Power Dynamos will have the arduous trip away to the African champions Pyramids. Now, RS Berkane have already won the head-to-head between the two sides, 3-2. So it means the team that gets the better result will go through to the knockout stage. While in the result the two teams are stuck, it will be RSB who go through to the next round. So Rivers United, Power Dynamos, I beg your pardon, will have to get the better result than RSB to progress. In Group B, the action began in Algeria as JS Kabylie, in desperate need of a win, took on Al Ahly, knowing that the Canaries, if they were unable to get a result, would sadly be eliminated from the Champions League. And it was a typical Al Ahly away day. Mama always preached moderation, and that's what Al Ahly got. They were a team that knew they didn't have a lot of resources, wouldn't have a lot of opportunities, but they were very stoic and steady in the defense. Really weren't troubled. There wasn't really a lot of great opportunities that JS Kabylie created throughout the 90 minutes. They did create some nice chances, but it was never always going to be enough. Al Ahly, though, bided their time, bided their patience, and knew that a moment was going to come, and they tried to force that moment. But it was a typical CAF Champions League away performance from Al Ahly. The one performance that seemed to get them over the line almost all the time, and why they've become such a successful team in Africa and getting results like this in some of the toughest of places, some of the most demanding places. The match would sadly peter out and end 0-0, and unfortunately that would mean that the CAF Champions League now claims another victim, as the Canaries, JS Kabylie, will be eliminated regardless what happens. Well, for Al Ahly, it meant that they were through to the quarterfinals regardless of what happens elsewhere, but the real action would be elsewhere. In the Moroccan capital, we'd have a huge game as Young Africans, Yanga would visit FAR Rabat. Having won the reverse fixture 1-0 in Zanzibar, very controversially, this match had all the makings for what would essentially be a Champions League eliminator, and the chances came thick and fast for both sides. FAR Rabat threatened a lot with their aerial play, having some headers go a little bit wide. They would also heavily take some shots into the Yanga area. Yanga, of course, we always knew they were going to be behind the 8 ball, but also did have a glorious opportunity thanks to Prince Dube, who was found himself at a very nice position with the ball played into the area. He then has a little bit too much ice cream and scoops the ball over the bar, and it's a huge opportunity. You could just see the reaction from the Yanga players, knowing how big an opportunity that would be. And sadly, they'd be punished as one of these sort of long shots in what was really a terrible evening weather-wise. A ball would be played in. A shot would be taken just outside the penalty area. Tocanero finally seems to get a delivery into the box. A shot is taken just from the distance and it flies into the back of the net with just little time to play, probably about 15 to 10 minutes to play, to give FAR Rabat a crucial goal. And this would be an important goal, as not only did it secure victory in this match, but keeps them alive and Yanga level in the CAF Champions League. It's a huge goal that keeps them alive, and a huge goal that still gives them an opportunity at progression into the quarterfinals. While for Yanga, they'll know it's an opportunity missed, a big opportunity missed, and now they're probably gonna have to do it, well, not necessarily the hard way, but they'll know now they'll have to really perform on the final day to progress. So this is how the group looks heading into the final day. You have Al Ahly on top with 9 points. They are through regardless what happens on the final day. FAR Rabat are a point behind with 8 points, while for Yanga they are 3 behind with 5, while for JS Kabylie it's only 2 points and they are eliminated. There is a chance for Yanga to progress. The head-to-head means nothing in this situation, considering that the head-to-head between the two is a 1-1 draw. So it's going to come down to goal difference, and Yanga are going to need a 3 to 4 goal swing in order to progress, which means they're going to have to hope FAR Rabat lose away at Al Ahly and lose pretty badly, while they will have to win, and win handsomely, at home to JS Kabylie. Those are the last 2 games in the group. Al Ahly host FAR Rabat, while Yanga host JS Kabylie. The action in Group C began in the Algerian capital Algiers, as MC Alger Mouloudia Club would host Al Hilal, who were buoyant after their victory over Mamelodi Sundowns, but they knew heading to Algeria would be a very different environment altogether. I mean, and they'd sadly find that out in the 15th minute, where they would concede the first goal of the game. Long ball played to the side. The goalkeeper tries to sort of intercept the ball, but it doesn't really work. He's run outside of goal. It's squared in, and with the goalie in no man's land and the defense exposed, it's an easy tap-in and 1-0 for Mouloudia Club. And that really sent off the powder keg atmosphere at the La Pointe Stadium in Algiers. It sent them absolutely crazy. I mean, the atmosphere was already pretty much cooking. The fans were very buoyant after their win over Saint Eloi Lupopo at home on Matchday 4, and just to really let that powder keg explode was that opening goal, and really gave Mouloudia Club the opportunity to settle down and get that early goal. They would double their money just before halftime, and it would be that man Zinedine Ferhat with a fantastic goal. I mean, he collects the ball from a pass in the midfield. He beats one defender just outside the box, and the finish is just scrumptious. A phenomenal finish. Goalie just doesn't stand a chance. And at 2-0 up at half time, really Mouloudia were in on the money. They were in on the money and were on their way to yet another important 3 points. Al Hilal will definitely come out and start creating a lot more chances, like the likes of man of the match last week, Jean-Claude, and Abdelrahman. But eventually they will be rewarded with a goal, a pullback goal, a comeback goal in the 10th minute before the end, the 80th minute. As Salim would be in on goal. He'd be put in on goal thanks to a fantastic assist and another fantastic finish past the goalkeeper, puts it past the goalkeeper Guendouzi, puts the ball right there beyond him. It's a great finish, in on goal for 2-1, especially under pressure, and gave Al Hilal some hope that they could rescue a point, and a point that could see them through to the last 8. Unfortunately, the goal never came, the point never came, and all 3 points would be staying with Mouloudia Club. A massive result, and it's huge because it takes them up to 2nd place provisionally. Of course, the other game would kick off a couple days later, but Mouloudia Club could go to bed tonight knowing that on the final day they had hope of progression. Forward to Sunday, and in the balmy heat of Lubumbashi, I think probably the hottest city in Africa, Durban being a close second. I mean, I'm sweating pigs out here. We'd have Sant Eloi Lupopo host Mamelodi Sundowns, and under pressure Mamelodi Sundowns. I mean, it's been quite public how things haven't been going so well with the Brazilians, and knowing that now with the result compounded with a defeat to Al Hilal and the result of the subsequent game, Sundowns knew that they have to get 3 points if they want to be in charge of their own destiny heading into the final day, but they'd have to get it in very hostile territory against a very unpredictable side, and they would make the worst possible start, where Sant Eloi Lupopo would have a attack ruled out due to offside. I mean, it's the correct call. I mean, the TV camera doesn't help, but it is offside, and the worst part was Williams was in no man's land. He comes charging out and it's rounded by Enoch, but thankfully he sees the referee's flag and is saved. Sadly though, the respite wouldn't last long, as literally a minute later in the next play, Sant Eloi again run that long ball play, and this time they catch Sundowns' offside trap, beat it, and again Williams is challenged. The ball is then squared, and getting into an empty net would be that man Enoch, who would knock in for a 1-0 lead. And for Sundowns, their CAF Champions League campaign couldn't get off to a more disastrous turn. 1-0 down against a hostile home crowd, and now they knew they have to dig really deep and because they needed a result here, because another defeat would really put them in deep danger heading into the final day. I mean, I think the live table had Sundowns, I think, bottom of the group heading into the final day. Still had a chance of progression, but I mean, from bottom of the group, the chances get slim, really slim. Sundowns though would get their opportunity and would get their goal in the second half, thanks to Jaden Adams and a header. I mean, he finds himself in really the right place at the right time, beats his defender, which shouldn't really be happening since he was shorter than the man who was marking him. He then heads a bullet header past the goalkeeper to the top corner for 1-1, and that sort of quietens the stadium down. The stadium gets mad quiet. It's probably the quietest it had been all day. Lupopo would of course had some chances of their own. Sadly, they wouldn't be able to put the ball in the back of the net, and sadly neither would Mamelodi Sundowns, as their attack really didn't look potent at all. It really didn't look as creative, and unfortunately they'd have to settle for the 1-1 draw, which, I mean, kind of helps Sundowns. They still sort of have destiny in their own hands. So do Lupopo. They're both not out of the competition, but really now it makes for really scary reading. So here is how the group looks after the day's action. You have Al Hilal, who are still on top with 7 points. Mamelodi Club with 8 points. Mamelodi Club have 7. Mamelodi Sundowns have 6, while Sant Eloi Lupopo have 5. I mean, this is a very tight group. All 4 can still progress heading into the final day. I mean, I'm not even going to sit here and explain permutations. We'd be here all night. But the last game sees Sant Eloi Lupopo traveling to Rwanda to face to face Al Hilal, while arguably the game of the match day takes us to Pretoria, as Rulani Mukwena returns home, as his Mamelodi Club will defend a advantage over Mamelodi Sundowns, where the winner of that match will certainly qualify for the last 8, but Mamelodi Club will qualify with a draw. But still, anything can happen on the final day. I mean, everyone will be grabbing their calculators and a copy of the CAF rule book, because it's going to be, tune into both games, tune into the finale of Group C. This is the real group of death in this season's Champions League. I mean, the drama we're going to be seeing on the last day is going to be absolutely out of this world. The action in Group D kicked off in Luanda as a very desperate Simba visited Petro de Luanda. Both teams needing 3 points to further enhance their chances of Champions League qualification. I mean, Simba's chances were already thin enough as is, 1 point in 4, but they knew a victory over Petro would be a last sort of ditch chance to head into the last 8. Well, for Petro, who were in a enough comfortable position, knew a victory would put them in another position of comfort heading into the final match day, and it would be the home team from Angola who would take the advantage. Pedro Pinto with the header means this is actually his first game after coming back from a 7-month-long injury layoff. I mean, I can't specify what injury he had. I mean, it must have been a really bad one, like a torn Achilles or a torn ACL, or Lord forbid a broken leg or ankle, but he returned to the squad and gave them a much needed goal, a goal that's so badly needed to give the Angolan side a 1-0 advantage. They would create some more chances to try to put the game beyond doubt, but unfortunately their finishing really wasn't up to scratch, and they would even be given a man advantage as Simba would be down to 10 men, but Steve Barker's men never gave it up, and Steve Barker's men got the equalizer, a fantastic rasping counter-attack, direct passing, quick, fast, were able to find Petro defensively unorganized or struggling to be defensively organized, and Ishmael Dura would find himself in the right place at the right time to swipe in and for 1-1, and this would be a huge blow. I mean, the stadium goes absolutely silent. It's a massive blow, while for Simba it's a really great last minute consolation goal at this point, as the full-time whistle goes off, and sadly that would confirm Simba's elimination. They would have one last opportunity, but unfortunately it never came. The 3 points never came, and unfortunately for Simba, they would be the latest victim of the competition, as they would be guaranteed eliminated regardless what happened. For Petro though, they badly needed the 3 points. I mean, yes, they got the draw, which is great, but they so badly needed the 3, and now their fate lay in the streets of Bamako. They really could do it. They really could do it. I mean, wow. We have our underdog fairy tale. Stade Malien du Bamako hosted Espérance de Tunis in the late Sunday game, the last game of the match day, and it would be a very, very tense game. I mean, Espérance, having of course held Espérance in the reverse fixture, many would have felt the team from Tunis would actually be having a lot more of the chances or the opportunities, and they sort of did. I mean, Koulibaly, the Koulibaly for Espérance would sadly would spoil a fantastic opportunity. They would hit the post as well in the second half. Boualia with a free kick and a header would just be hitting the underside of the crossbar. But the goal would come for the white and blue, as a ball would be played into the area. There'd be a shot saved by the goalkeeper, and there would be Stade Malien's Koulibaly, who would be in the right place at the right time to swipe the ball into the back of the net to give the local team the lead. And I mean, the celebration is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, wow, the joy was absolutely phenomenal. The celebrations were phenomenal, and it was a huge result. And they'll be on the cusp of another upset, and for Espérance, another frustrating day at the office. So then, as the match would wear on, Espérance again would create a lot more opportunities. Stade Malien had a chance to kill the game off, sadly could not take that opportunity. Espérance as well had great opportunities, but sadly couldn't put them away as well. And the full-time whistle would go off, and it would be joyous scenes all over Mali. I mean, for Malian football, I mean, this is absolutely incredible, as Stade Malien not only have now qualified for the CAF Champions League quarterfinals for the first time in the modern tournament history. For the first time ever, a Malian team has made the last 8 of the modern style CAF Champions League. but they had officially won the group. They could not be displaced. It's a phenomenal group stage. I mean, having 3 experienced CAF campaigners in your group, you as a tournament debutant of this part of the competition, and to have 5 games against these 3 sides and be unbeaten, and especially be practically unbeatable at home, 2 wins and a draw, is still a fantastic achievement for the side from Bamako. For Esperance, it ramps up the pressure even more, to the extent that the pressure finally cracked on Coach Manuel Kanzari as he was let go by Lesong Or. And this is how the group lines up at the end. You have Stade Malien, top of the group with 11 points. They are officially confirmed through and are the first confirmed group winners of the CAF Champions League. That means that they will be seeded in the draw. They'll get to have the second leg at home in Bamako, where they've been absolutely phenomenal and imperious this season, have been the Shrimps. Esperance are second with 6 points. Third is Petro Atletico de Luanda on 6 points, while for Simba they're on 2 points, and sadly their campaign ends here. For Stade Malien, they end their campaign away to Simba, but the real game, and arguably the game of the group stage, or the game of Matchday 6, will take us to Tunis, as Esperance will host Petro de Luanda. And now, with both teams being tied on 6 points, remember, in CAF competition, head-to-head is the primary tiebreaker, not goal difference. And for these two, they've already met in the group stage, a 1-1 draw. So think of this match as a home and away knockout tie, a tie that Esperance are leading on away goals 1-1, which means, of course, the permutations of this match, the winner goes through. That's quite obvious. But in the event of a draw, a 0-0 draw will suit Esperance just fine. A 1-1 draw, then we go down to goal difference. And anything above a 2-2 draw will see the Angolans progress. So if you're looking for any more drama, I'd suggest you tune into that one as well. Should be an absolute cracker in Tunis. That's it. That is the end of my match day 5 wrap. How did your team do? Are you through to the last quarterfinals? Sorry. Are you still sweating it out leading up to the final day, or is the campaign over? And if so, what went wrong? What were your expectations, and where did it all go wrong? Anyway, guys, if you stuck out to the absolute end, you're an absolute warrior, and I absolutely love you. Don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe, and please interact in the comments. You know, I will be looking out for you in the comments, and maybe even reply to your messages. Thanks again for all the support, and until then, it's been your boy, the Football Otaku, and never forget, real football always wins. Check you on the flip side. Deuces. Bye-bye.